welcome to VoIP Africa once again. This is a place we give opportunity to young people to express their views on matters that affect young people on the African continent. And here with me are the communications officers of the ruling New Patriotic Party and the opposition party, the NDC, National Democratic Congress. They are student wings on campus. Before we kick right into what we're going to do, I'll first of all want them to introduce themselves properly so you get to know them. You're welcome to VoIP Africa.
Thank you very much. My name is Akiola Aziz, Communications Officer Elect. As per the regulations governing the conduct of our elections, Regulation 18 states that whoever attends vetting and passed the vetting and he's going unopposed is duly elected.
So you feel you are elected for the position of communications officer for 10. Well, that is an issue we want to delve into another day. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good. So,
okay. Yeah. This is Eduwahin Daniel, Communications Director, hopeful. Yes. For us, we've not taken an election, so I'm hopeful.
Right. That is fine. Absolutely. Today we are talking about the UTAG strike and also matters pertaining to the E-levy that I feel are very critical to student welfare and to the welfare of citizens of this particular country. And so I'll start with you. What is your stance on the UTAG strike?
On its promise to increase the lecturers' basic salary to 114%, which when is translated into the dollar, it will be 2,084.42 cents of the dollar. Our lecturers deserve better, my brother. Looking at the circumstances surrounding one becoming a lecturer who had passed through the basic school to the second cycle to the tertiary institution and staying at the tertiary institution learning for 10 consecutive years as a lecturer holding PhD, receiving a scanty amount of money, not more than 5,000, my brother, would definitely call for an eyebrow. As students, we are not happy for us not to be attended to by our lecturers, but our lecturers had issued warnings on their attempt to organize strike or to take an industrial action. Last semester, for instance, our lecturers elected the government that they would go on strike. The government failed on its side of the promise. The lecturers embarked on strike. We, the students, we cried. The public cried to them. And upon reflection of the wailing of the people, UTAG decided to act on good faith and call off the strike. Government told them, court ordered them to come back to the classroom and go back to negotiation table. They returned to the negotiation table and there weren't any concrete offer for our lecturers. So our lecturers last year had already per their meetings on 4th and 7th and even 27th and 11th November all had told the government they would like to embark on strike. The strike action that had been supposed to have taken place 3rd January, which was even postponed, scheduled to 10th January. And at the end of the day, my brother, government didn't even intervene to, settle this issue amicably, to the extent that the lecturers embarked on strike and the National Labour Commission went to court to order them to come back to the classroom per their earlier order that the lecturers should come. So they went for what we will call an appeal to the High Court so that they pray that the court will allow. And very, very, very unfortunate for our lecturers, court had ordered them to come back to the classroom. Yesterday, the University of Ghana chapter president, Dr. Samuel Nkuban, spoke to one of the journalists. If I record the name, I would put it on board, that they are not coming back to the classroom today because the substantive matter or case will be determined next week, probably next week. So we all look forward to see.
Well, do you think having to go to court to secure an injunction to bring the lectures back to the classroom is the right thing? Was it in the right direction?
My brother, as usual, it is the lazy man's approach. We've had instances where lecturers had embarked on strike. That government had used the court to compel them to return to the classroom, and upon their resumption for academic work and other interrelated activities, government had proven to be adamant not to address the concerns raised by the lecturers. This is not the first time, and this wouldn't be the second time, and it wouldn't be the third time. What our lecturers demanding for? In 2012, when the previous administration was in power, they substituted the research and books allowance to be a national research and books allowance. They didn't scrap it. They only substituted it to make it more relevant, and so that they could even it will help them to secure fund. Do you get me? Because it becomes a national program, so it will help them to secure fund. Even if it is some levies that they will get, and then some grants and others. But they refused, and they even demanded for an increment in their salary, so better conditions of service or working conditions. And the government yielded to their plea and increased it, as I said, to 2,084. This government, and quite unfortunate, the implementation process, you know how implementation goes. So unfortunately, the government was ousted by the good people of Ghana and gave our brothers, the MPP, our colleagues, the nod to rule. And they reinstated that books and research allowance without taking into consideration the national research allowance. That is a good idea anyway, it's a motive, because that's what the lecturers want. And at the end of the day, instead of them reinstating them to the 114%, $2,084, they rather had denied the lecturers and now giving them 997.84, which is very, 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 scanty for the lecturers to depend on. Okay. Look at a lecturer. A lecturer is having a kid. Students, they have their own children that they are taking to school. They have wives. Look at the burden on them. Now, ask yourself, gone are the days
No, we understand these matters, but is it very prudent? You want to say something?
Okay, I think my brother is going real. We are talking about the student issue.
Okay.
But are you here to talk about what the students are going through as well? We are very much aware what the lecturers are going through.
Okay.
My brother, Akiola, are you listening, please?
He's listening.
Yes.
I'm listening to you.
We are very much aware what the lecturers are going through. Of course, if I should be a lecturer, or if my dad should be a lecturer, I'm very much aware what they are going through. But they should go to the negotiation table with the government or the NLC and know what is at stake, and we know the next approach. Okay.
Don't you think the lecturers are afraid to use that approach because they had used it before and it didn't work? They used it last year when they went on the strike and it didn't work. Don't you think they're afraid to use it again? That is why they are going all these ways.
Okay, that's very true. There is a saying that it's the mouth that we have to use it. Yes. So I think it would be best. In every situation, you have to think about the students too as well. That's my position. Just let's think about the students. We've settled.
Who do you feel is not treating the students well? Is it the government or UTAG?
At this point, I think the two. This is the situation of the two. They should just come on board and talk. They should talk about the students first. Okay. Yes.
Well, my brother
was talking about 114% of that was an is IMP, right? Are you talking about the IMP?
Yes. Free market premium.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that was dated 2013. Are you aware?
Yeah, it was dated 2013.
So you have to be clear with that.
My brother, let me. I'm very much convinced. I've been following this issue since last academic year. And when you look at the interim market premium that they even demanded for a report because this government said that they want to conduct a labor market survey, and they, instead of them bringing out the report to UTAG so that they will know how best to determine, because without the report they can't even negotiate, because that would determine how the basic salary should be. Do you get me? So without the report, that is why UTAG was calling on the government. And later, upon when they delayed, later they said they had released their report to the UTAG, so that is the end. But that's not what UTAG is all about. UTAG, they were demanding for a better conditions of service, which the government had denied them. It's actually a failure on the part of the government, because UTAG, did what? What do we call it? They came back to the classroom. They came after court ordered them. They acted in good faith, and they came back to the classroom. So why didn't government on its part also, conform to the meetings that they had, the interactions and the decision they took? But government saw it that they have used the lecturers, the court to suppress the lecturers, so they wouldn't come. No lecturer would be happy to see students stranded, wangling, moving about and other. But let me tell you one thing: if this matter is not solved today, the next we have suffered 2 academic years now. So the previous academic year we suffered, and this academic year we have suffered. UTAG, court has ordered UTAG to come back to the classroom, right? They can choose to come back to the classroom, but their next line of action, which we don't know, could be we are in the classroom but we would not teach. So what about that too? They can resort. They can even go on demonstration. It's very legitimate. These are legitimate concerns that we must raise, and we must, compare and contrast. So in order not to prevent or to avert future possible occurrence, let us see this as a fine time or an opportunity for the 2 parties to solve the issue amicably, so that it won't affect us.
In all this, one thing is important to me. We can do all the blame games. We can say UTAG is wrong and government is wrong. As young people, I want you to be very, objective in what you say. Tell us, what do you think should be the way forward? We have had enough of this. This one is wrong, that one is wrong, and all that. But I want you to talk in a sense that you are not just putting blame on somebody, but you are giving us a way forward. What do you think should be the next move for, UTAG and government in resolving this particular issue?
Thank you so much, my brother. I really like what you just said now. It's really brilliant. This is not a situation where, that's what my brother was trying to do. This is not a situation where we students, we should be talking about who is wrong here, who should compromise. We shouldn't talk about who is wrong here, who is wrong there, or what. We should deal with the situation. We should deal with the situation. How are we going to get our lectures back?
So what do you suggest? What do you think should be done moving forward?
I think the lecturers, we are pleading with them. They should please go to the negotiation table with the government. They should please go to the negotiation table with the government and sort out issues for them to come back to classrooms.
My brother, what do you suggest?
I suggest that the government must eat an humble pie and institute the previous market premium. The lecturers are not even demanding anything different or calling for any other increment. What they are pleading with the government is for them to reinstate them back to the 2012 premium. That is the basic premium. Yeah, it's 2012, 2013. So I would urge the government to, come to the aid of the lecturers. The reason why the lecturers are not willing to go to the negotiation table with NLC is that NLC has become a party to the government. They are always in defense of the government. That is what their posture is looking like. So that is why they are not coming. So UTAG, there should be a tripartite committee. The government being represented by the Minister of Education or the Minister of Education, and then the National Labour Commission, in as much as possible, because the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission also played an active role through the interim market premium that was. So they should come on board. And then the UTAG should also go back to the negotiation table to discuss the way forward. So we are waiting to see, we are in anticipation to see what will come out of the court next week in determining whether UTAG's strike action was legal or not legal. That is the reason why I don't want to make prejudicial comments or statements here. But my remarks now is that we as students too, I would urge our fellow students to also take their learning seriously, so that when the lecturers come back, we wouldn't find ourselves wanting. And I want to plead on behalf of UTAG as well. As a student, when 2 elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. So as my brother said, we are the one who will be suffering. Yes. So I would urge them to come back. We are there for them. In as much as I'm a student, and the welfare of my teacher must be a key interest to me, because my welfare is also an interest to them. And they would come to the class without better incentives, and they would teach the way they think they can teach, because or what they deem to offer, because that is what has been given to them.
You feel that they will not give their best when they are compelled to return?
Of course, they wouldn't give their best because they are not motivated. Their incentives, they have issues with their salary and all that. They won't feel happy. And mind you, those who are working for NLC, those who are working for the ministry, they all passed through the hands of the lecturer.
So my brother, do you think when the lecturers return through this means that seems to be like they have been pressured or forced to return, will they be motivated to give their best?
Yeah, that's a critical issue we have to think about too. That's very, very true. Yes, this is a human nature. What they are demanding, if they've not been given, I don't think they will put out their 100%.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think they will put out their. That's why my stand is they should just go to the negotiation table with the government and talk.
Okay.
Yes.
You feel that will give them what they want. So
yes.
My brother is calling on UTAG to return to the negotiations table, and likewise my very good friend, UTAG should return to the negotiations table and judge with government, and let's find a way forward to this matter. Another issue that is very critical to our welfare as students, and not just students, as citizens of this country, is the E-levy. You know, there has been a lot of back and forth about this particular E-levy that the government is introducing. What is your position on the E-levy? Is it something that, is it a savior we think it is?
The E-levy, which we all know is the electronic transaction levy, has become like a thief to tap into other people's pockets. Why am I saying this? We don't have any contract with the government. The contract that we have is with the communication service, and we are paying our charges. And the government also tax the communication services. So if the government has anything to do with electronic transaction levy and all other things, the government must approach the stakeholders and deal with it as such. My brother, what are the concerns that Ghanaians are raising against the E-levy? You have a lot of taxes that are already overburdening the ordinary Ghanaian taxpayer, the poor man in the village, the middle class, and even the rich. My brother, what we see as a lazy man approach, as usual, by the government to levy people with this E-levy. This government, don't forget, when they were in opposition, told us that there are a lot of numerous taxes that are nuisance, and when they assume power, they would scrap them off. But quite unfortunate, this government came to power and rather overburdened Ghanaians with taxes. We have the communication services tax, which is even dealing with communication. We have this sanitation levy, we have this COVID levy, and numerous others, many others. So we think this is not the right approach for government to just enter into other people's pockets.
What do you think will be the impact of the E-levy on students?
The impact of E-levy on students is that as students, we are dependent on our parents. What our parents get is what they give. And looking at the current economic situation, there is our parents are just trying to make ends meet for us. So if you are to tax them when they are sending money to us, and where we are cashing out money, it will be very difficult, because the money our parents offer to give us is very scanty. So if the government should tap into that money, it's going to make life unbearable. Likewise, some of us that we are even the breadwinner to the family. I'm taking care of my mother, taking care of my grandmother. I consume here as a student, and I need to send money home. Mostly 200 cedis every month. So my grandmother at the village would be expecting not more than 200 cedis.
Okay,
so
the young man who wants to start a business, is the E-levy something that will motivate him to do what he wants to do?
No, please. It wouldn't motivate him, because the money that even getting startups, yes, even startup capital is very difficult. Okay. So the little that the person has been able to gather to do business, and you are taxing, mind you, we don't tax on what do we call it, capital. If you want to tax, you tax on income. So somebody's capital that he's about to use to invest or do business, and you tax on it, then it means you are collapsing the business.
Okay. So my very good friend, the E-levy, what is your position on it as a young person, not as somebody maybe talking for a political party or taking the stance of a political party or something, but as a young man, what do you think about the E-levy? Is it something that will save us from the economic woes we are in?
Thank you so much, my brother. I think with every policy or with any idea, we should, in as much as we go to the negative side, checking about the disadvantages, okay, we should try and check about the the positive side to the advantages. Yes, I think my brother here, they always deal with the issue politically.
Okay.
And that shouldn't be so. Okay, so sometimes I go out making an engagement. I engaged with some of the citizens of the country. So I asked them about the E-levy. Yes, and you should be very much aware our economic stand now as a country. Yes, so their issue is the 1.75 is quite huge for them. Okay. And again, the telcos are ready to reduce their charges. So they are calling for reduction, of which I think it's in the right direction.
Okay.
Yes, I think they should try. I mean, there was.
I'm aware the minister is on processes to reintroduce the bill and to reduce the 1.75 to 1.5%. Is that it?
Yes.
So, do you think that is the right way to go? Is that fine for Ghanaians, in your opinion?
If I should be very honest, I was calling for a reduction, but I think still 1.5. It's
a bit high.
Yeah, it's some way. So I think I would be very much happy if it's reduced a bit again. Okay. Yes.
So let's say you are a fresh graduate, you want to start a business, you want to do something. How do you think you can deal with the E-levy? How would you position yourself so that you are not affected in bad ways or in the negative direction? The E-levy doesn't affect you, so that you can still move on to do your business.
Yes, thank you so much. You see, one issue is what the citizens were talking about is they are not thinking about the taxing. They are okay with the taxing, even if it's 2%, they are okay. A lot. I'm not saying everyone, but yes, they are okay. But is it going to be accountable? Okay. That's the issue. We, as the youth, we should be thinking about now.
Okay.
We shouldn't be political. We should think about what the tax is going to do for the country. I mean, you are talking about me as a business person, okay, want to set up a business or something. Yes. So if there is money in the country, you see, if the E-levy has been proposed, I mean, it's working now. They will set up factories. I mean, there will be work going on in the country. Okay, yes, it will be boosting the economy.
We have seen the government.
That's where my people, they know this E-levy is going to cost them big time.
Okay.
Yes. That's where they are very much
so
aware.
So you feel the opposition party is kicking against the E-levy because they think that
my brother here should be very honest with himself.
My brother.
He sometimes go back and do analysis what the e-levy is going to cause. It's a very good initiative.
Do you think that they are preventing it because they think it to make the government progress and it to keep them in opposition?
Exactly.
Okay.
100%. My brother here sometimes go back to his room, analyze the advantages of the e-levy. Yes, this is a great policy. I think we the youths to stand and we should
defend it.
Yes.
Okay.
We should defend it.
So my brother, he feels that you in the opposition are trying to block their shine. I mean, trying to block the e-levy because you think that it will keep you in opposition for a longer period. Why, if that is the case, are you not concerned about the country developing?
It's quite intriguing and mind-boggling for my brother to say that. What I want to say is that they normally hide behind creating infrastructure, but have you forgotten that this government had borrowed 240 billion and they couldn't account for any single project? The free SHS that they are using as their flagship program, that without e-levy, Achibefi said they will cancel it. They will cancel free SHS. The what do we call it? The road minister for Amakwata had also said that without e-levy, no roads, and many others. Even Ken Oforiatta said that without e-levy, the economy will collapse. My brother, it is never true. Even the free SHS is being funded by the Heritage Fund that we left. That is what they are tapping in to do the free SHS. So there's no doubt about that. But do you know the leakages? 2021, go and look at Auditor General's report. Go and look at it. 12 billion into leakages. What are the money? 12 billion. That money is twice the amount they are going to accrue from e-levy. Why didn't they consider finding ways to block the leakages, the loopholes, to plug the loopholes, and then also go after those people who took the money and retrieve the monies back? There are a number of about 45 cases pending at the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So Ghanaians are asking about, as he rightly said, that they are asking for accountability. They gave you the nod for the first 4 years, and they are seeing the mess. Look at the woes. Dr. Baumia himself had said on record on Peace FM morning show program when they interviewed him that they are not going to tax. They are not going to tax on Momo. The communication, what do we call it? The telcos have also come out expressing their disgust. The Momo, the mobile money operators, they said that most of them are youths, and they have raised concern that when the e-levy is passed, it is going to affect their business, and it will affect them, and their business will not be able to see the light of the day. So these are some of the things. The government did this without even making consultation. Why didn't the government consult the good people of Ghana?
Now consultations are going. Consultations are ongoing. They've made the Christian Council, town hall meetings and all that. So if it is about consultation, I think they are doing that. What's next?
On our side, as a minority who always fight for the interest of the minors and also the disabled, which I call the differently able people and children and other students, we have stated categorically, we've made that categorical statement that we are not going to accept and approve this e-levy.
Why would you not accept the e-levy?
We've opted that in order for a house cleaning effect, in order to ensure physical and financial discipline, they can go back to IMF, International Monetary Fund, or we should meet for a stakeholders consultation like we did the previous, which they did not yield to. We can have a stakeholders consultation. They should consult us, discuss JoJo, and know the way forward, how the economy is going to be. We have proposed alternative solutions to this, giving them the way forward for them to be able to accrue money from. Social media like this now is the order of the day, which Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. People are doing businesses there without paying taxes. So, and their businesses are booming. So I think with that one, but for the e-levy, it is going to affect everybody, even the unemployed, the one who hasn't even gotten a meal on the table, and you are going to tax that person. And they are telling us, their posture seems to be a stubborn one, telling Ghanaians that if you have 100 cedis, you are rich. It doesn't.
That brings me to
Doesn't
this.
occur.
Are you rich as a Ghanaian if you have 100 cedis? Is it just something to cover
I
up
mean,
for?
this
you know,
is
are
just
you
an
sa-
expression
yeah.
from my brother, so I
Okay.
wouldn't like to talk
No.
about it.
I think one of the communicators,
Yes,
NPP
Hustler
communicators,
also
said that
communication.
if you have 100 Ghana cedis, you are not a poor person. What was that? Is it right to say such a thing?
I think, as I said, I wouldn't like to talk. This is a very
don't want to
controversial,
touch-
it's
okay,
sensitive.
it's
So I
sensitive.
wouldn't like to talk about to probably hurt someone or something. But I think we should check on the critical issue on board now. You see, my brother, that was very unfortunate for my brother. My brother was talking about something, and he said they are not ready to see the bill passed. They are not ready to accept the E-levy, and he's not,
Ghanaians.
and
We are
he's
not
not
ready
giving
to
any.
overburden
He's not
Ghanaians
giving us any
any
reason.
longer.
He's not giving us any reason. I would like to, my brother, if you can be clear, the reason why you don't
Yes,
want the.
because
You are not even talking
The
about
monies,
age reduction.
the monies that
My brother is
you
not
have
even talking
levied
about age
us,
reduction.
the monies that you've levied us the previous years, those monies had not been accounted for. There are leakages. As I told you that there's 12 billion leakages, which would have been meant for development projects. Where are the monies? You've gone, what bank gave you, what bank gave you $430 million, which you couldn't account for? What bank gave you 2 billion, you couldn't account for? John Mahama left 200 million stabilization fund. We left money in sinking fund. We
That's
created
very
the Exim Bank. With all these funds, the Heritage Fund, which you've tapped into, the contingency fund, you've tapped into.
Okay, so moving forward, the leakages. This is a matter that we must address as young people.
Yes.
If our future will be secured, if we are going to progress as a country and as a continent, the leakages in our systems, the corruption and the misapplication and misappropriation of funds and all those things are things that we should be concerned, because it looks like we have given our resources to, in quotes, an old generation, and it has been misused and mishandled, and if we don't take care, we will be left with nothing for our future as young people. What do you think is the way forward in addressing this particular issue of misapplication and misappropriation of funds in terms of leakages and all that in our economies?
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. You see, as I came here first, I was like, I came here to tackle issue intellectually. I didn't come here to be political.
Okay.
Yes, I think my brother is being quite political, but that's okay with him.
It's not political.
That's
It is
okay
not
with him.
political.
So,
I'm giving facts and figures.
yes. So
And
I think,
reference
thank you so much. I always like how you address issues. I mean, we as youths, we are the next generation, obviously. We are the next generation. We are coming to take over. So we should, any policy that will help the economy of the country, we should support it. And we should, yes, it's very good we go for it, accountability. We should go for it boot for boot. It should be accountable. Yes.
So how do you think young people can help in holding, office holders and governments accountable?
Okay, thank you so much. So this is where something like this. I'm very great. Your move is a very great one. Like, you put us on board, share our grievances to the top, to the top hierarchy. So they hear. Sometimes they consider what we also put on board as well. Yes.
So you feel that we should get platforms that gives opportunity
Exactly.
to young people to express their views
Exactly.
and all that. All right, that's
Exactly.
fine. So what do you think, as a young man, how do you think we can tackle this particular issue of leakages? Leakages in our economies is not something that started under the NPP, neither is it under the NDC. It is something that is existing. Day in, day out, we are confronted with it. What do you think can be done? Not being political, but as a young man who wants the best for this country, what should be done to prevent these leakages?
In my opinion, I think we need to change our mentality. Our perception towards political leaders. We normally talk about the ministers, those who are appointed and elected. But we've forgotten the civil servants, where there is also a very much decay in the system. In my opinion, as young people or youth, we should also embark on advocacy programs to educate the young Ghanaian who is coming to know that corruption is our greatest enemy. And we would want to have a generation where corruption will be reduced to the barest minimum, if not eliminated, so that we would have a bright future. Considering the advanced countries, corrupt practices has been minimal. Yes, have been minimal, and that is the reason why they are progressing. So we would urge them to have a very good perception, mentality, think about the generation, and think about the future of the country, and which is not inimical to our interest. Considering our interests as youths, we should also consider the future generation who are coming. And secondly, I would also like to urge leadership to consider it as a matter of urgency to deal with corrupt cases. I will rightly call on the office of the special prosecutor to do an independent work. And whoever that has a hand in any corrupt practice should be dealt with in a way, not the usual way that when somebody is found guilty or of any corrupt practice, that person is being jailed, but rather retrieve the money and for the state. And then moving on, moreover, what I consider necessary is that we should also think of giving the youth the opportunity to rule. We were having this perception that the old would not steal, the old will not tap into state coffers. Look at the corruption and corruption related activity that is going on. Most of our public office holders are grown, yes, old men and women over there. And yes, so we are encountering this. So let us change the dynamics. Let's do the this thing, interplay, and see, give the opportunity for the young men to serve, because for them, they will be leaving very soon, and it is our time to take up the mantle of leadership. And I also want to urge the anti-corruption institutions to also step up the game in educating, in giving education, yes, campaigns.
Yeah, so my brother is calling issues on, one thing is critical in what you said, that young people should be given the opportunity to rule, and I think that is in the right direction. If we say old people will not be corrupt and corruption is swallowing us, then I think we should change our dynamics and let young people take up the mantle of leadership, and young people who are burning with innovative ideas should not be restricted because of age. Because in other parts of the world, we see young people rule and they do so well. So if you are a young person out there, I want to encourage you that you have what it takes to lead. And so you should just avail yourself. And when you get into leadership positions, the things that we are experiencing now, that we feel that are not right, let's come and change the status quo. Let's come and redefine and rewrite the African story, in a different perspective, not the usual, corruption, and poverty and all the bad that we can mention, or we can talk about. So yes, it is our time to step up and to take up the leadership mantle and to make sure that things are changed for the better. So we are almost at the end of our discussion. What will be your last words? Do you want to say hi to anybody?
All right. Thank you so much, brother. So I think there is one unfortunate thing I would like to address. There is no dictionary that synonymize politics to corruption or lies. They say you can't be good politician if you are truthful. I think that's one thing you're talking about. What are we coming to do? What are we bringing on board? We are the eye of the next generation, we can change something. Politics can't be corruption throughout every day. This has been happening throughout. I mean, growing up,
Yeah.
and still it's happening. So you can't be a good politician with lies. I don't think that's something we the youth should come on board to change.
Okay.
So thank you so much for your time, my brother. I would like to extend my greetings to all University of Ghana students, TESCON members, and Legon Hall members as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, right. So he is an aspirant for TESCON Communications Officer. And so what would be your final words, my brother?
Let me first of all acknowledge our father, our brother, and our everything, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I learned the clergy call on him on this E-levy brouhaha, and he was very happy, and he told them that they have awoken to their conscience on the E-levy. And also Jenana Opoko Ajiman, wherever she is today, I pray for God's blessing on her, the future vice president. Let me also acknowledge the leadership of Ayawaso West Wugon. They have made me who I am today. Our chairman, Bismarck Bobby, and then our own commander, youth commander, Mr. Theophilus, and all well-meaning students of the University of Ghana, most especially TANE UG. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much for staying with us, and this is the end of our engagement. Thank you for watching, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do well to subscribe. Thank you very much.